All right, welcome into the show. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Senior, and on the slate for today's program, top 5 Philadelphia Eagles Training Camp Breakout Stars up to this point. But before we get started, we are a week away from the return of Eagles preseason football. Can you believe it? So if you're excited for Eagles-Ravens, and we're going to be doing a watch party for it right here on Eagles Now, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. Training Camp Star number 1, a pretty obvious name in my opinion because Nolan Smith has had it going all the way back to rookie minicamp and OTAs because his athleticism has been so impressive and on display to start training camp. He's gotten first-team reps at edge as well as an off-ball linebacker. He's played a couple of different roles, and the versatility that he showed at Georgia could really help him get on the field early as a rookie, as a blitzer and that off-ball linebacker in passing situations, running situations, but also just being able to get after the quarterback, but also defend the pass in that off-ball type of situation. His quickness off the edge has been breathtaking. That first step is elite, and the dip move around the corner has allowed him to generate quarterback pressures, would-be sacks, and it's led to a couple of turnovers against the opposing offense. And coming out of Georgia, some people thought that Nolan Smith was going to be a little bit undersized. I raved about his athleticism. Everybody looked at 6'2", 238, and they thought that he was a little bit undersized. You look at the relative athletic score here, it's basically scaling athletes from 1 to 10. Nolan Smith in the green overall, a 9.23 score. He's green everywhere outside of his height and weight, but that height and weight, very similar to Hassan Reddick, very similar to Von Miller. What I look at is the vertical of 41.5 inches, the great broad jump, and then at that size of at 238 pounds, he ran a 40-yard dash sub 4.40. And so far, that speed has been on display, and it's allowed him to really get in that backfield to cause some problems. Training camp star number 2, Cam Jurgens. And this is really a good development for Philadelphia because on the show today, we're talking about a lot of young players. So Howie Roseman has really been able to replenish the cupboard with a lot of young players who are affordable, and he's done a great job of identifying talent over the last couple of drafts. Nolan Smith appears to be one. Hopefully he works out, and then Cam Jurgens figures to be another. It always helps when you have the best offensive line coach in the NFL in Jeff Stoutland. Now, we have Cam Jurgens listed as a center because that was what he was drafted to be. But that brings me to my point on today's show. He started every practice at right guard. He's been in the competition with Tyler Steen. Not much of a competition, though, because it's been Cam Jurgens who's been to the right of Jason Kelce and to the left of Lane Johnson as the Isaac Seumalo replacement. He's drawn praise from Jason Kelce. In my opinion, the best center of all time. I already had to cop his Kelly Green number 62 jersey. Cam Jurgens was a little bit lighter last year. He's added the necessary weight to play right guard and does have that athleticism on those pull blocks to get out to that second level in that run game. And the Eagles' offensive line depth chart, this unit, the best in the NFL last year. They only had to use 6 starters. They were very, very healthy. Hopefully that's the same case, because if that is the case, they can duplicate their success from last year. Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Jason Kelce, Cam Jurgens, Lane Johnson. What a front for the Birds. Now, the Kelly Green jerseys, I think that they're icy. I've continued to say I think they're the nicest jerseys in all of sports, definitely in the NFL. I want to know, though, did you get a Kelly Green jersey yet? If so, type me. If not, we have them available here. All you have to do is plug in that link down below, chatsports.com/Kelly Green. We have people literally watching from every pocket of America, but also all across the globe. So a lot of you earlier this week, you went to the pro shop in New Jersey, Lincoln Financial Field, the one in Lancaster, and you were able to pick up a Kelly Green jersey. If you want to order it because you're not in the vicinity to go to the Eagles pro shop, you can get them down below, chatsports.com/Kelly Green. I already ordered my Jason Kelce jersey, as I said, and one of our loyal viewers, Losing Hope with Humanity, just had a baby a few months ago. He also ordered his Kelly Green jersey, put the baby on the Kelly Green jersey. He already got his in the mail. Appreciate Losing Hope for supporting the show. Beautiful kid that you have there. Beautiful jersey as well. Jalen Carter also popping out as a training camp star up to this point. You have the number 30th overall pick in Nolan Smith, your second-round pick from last year in Cam Jurgens out of Nebraska, and your number 9 overall pick here in Jalen Carter. Evaluating him up to this point, his power as a rookie, very, very noticeable. Jason Kelce had a quote last week where he could physically feel, even though he didn't have to block Jalen Carter, a Jalen Carter bull rush. He has the offensive line holding on for dear life. During a practice on Thursday, Brett Toth was thrown to the ground by Jalen Carter. For him to do that as a rookie is a good sign to come because he's only going to continue to get stronger and more acclimated with the NFL game. But coming out of Georgia, the size, speed, strength, versatility was really an impressive trait or traits for him. He can win with finesse because of the speed. I've seen him track down quarterbacks. I've seen him run down running backs. On bubble screens to wide receiver on the outside at Georgia, he was able to tackle wide receivers out there. That's how freaky of an athlete he is, and his presence is felt anytime he's on the field. He doesn't have to contribute with sacks in order for him to be felt and his presence and his impact to be noticed on the defensive side of the ball because he's always going to demand attention. And speaking of demanding attention, he's going to demand attention all across that defensive line. At least that's my hope for defensive coordinator Sean Desai, who is going to run a multiple scheme. He's a Vic Fangio disciple, learned how Vic Fangio called the game of football, and both of those defensive coordinators, they use 3-4 fronts, they use 4-3 fronts. At Georgia, Jalen Carter lined up on the A-gap 30 times, over tackle 83, B-gap primarily because, yes, he is a traditional defensive tackle 255 times, outside tackle 20 times. I hope that Desai uses him in this similar manner because he can exploit some mismatches along that opposing offensive line. Now, this is why you should subscribe to the show. I think what we do here on Eagles Now is incredibly unique. We involve the audience more than any other YouTube channel out there. We give you thought-provoking analysis, opinions, news, rumors, all that. So if you haven't subscribed, you simply ain't alive because we give you daily shows on the birds, training camp reactions over the last couple of weeks, news, rumors, and analysis, live shows every week. We're currently live right now every Thursday, 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific, and watch parties are back next weekend for Ravens-Eagles. Hit that sub button, fly Eagles fly, go Birds. Let's move forward with this list. So we talked about 3 young players here so far, and A.J. Brown's only in his mid-20s. Yes, he's still technically young, but he's been in the league for a minute. You could classify him as a veteran. He is having an incredible training camp so far. And you know what's great? The connection last year between Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown was lethal, and so far in training camp, it's once again been unstoppable. Jalen Hurts to A.J. Brown has been one of the more impressive and ongoing storylines every single practice during Eagles training camp so far. And Jalen Hurts to A.J. Brown, that connection, it's developing into one of the best and most lethal quarterback wide receiver duos in the National Football League. You had Jalen Hurts, who finished runner-up in MVP voting last year, and A.J. Brown, who had arguably one of the best single seasons for a wide receiver in franchise history. He broke the record for the most receiving yards in a season for Philadelphia with nearly 1,500 yards. He was targeted 145 times for 88 grabs, 11 touchdowns, and 17 yards per catch. A.J. Brown is the closest thing to Terrell Owens that we've ever seen for this football team because of the physique, the physicality, the finesse, ability to pull away from defenders, break tackles, catch 50-50 balls. He is a complete wide receiver and a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL. And let's talk about his running mate, Jalen Hurts. Yeah, Devontae Smith might be his running mate, but so too is Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts had a great preseason and training camp last year. He might be even better in training camp this year. If we're going to discuss who's been a star for the Eagles throughout training camp so far, Jalen Hurts has to be in that conversation. He's pretty much been flawless in camp up to this point. Up until Thursday, he has not thrown an interception yet. Where at this point, it's a surprise if Jalen Hurts throws an incompletion. Accuracy, timing, anticipation, sideline throws, deep shots, throws at all 3 levels, short, intermediate, long. Jalen Hurts has been able to do all of that, And that's not even including when he gets into game action, when he can be a running threat as well. It's kind of crazy to think that Jalen Hurts could become better in 2023 than he was in 2022, but that's totally plausible this upcoming season. Honorable mentions here. Joseph Nagata, the wide receiver, UDFA out of Clemson, big-bodied, get-up-and-get-it type of guy. He's had a really good camp. Josh Joby is on that second-team defense as an outside corner. He's also on the first-team kick-blocking unit, UDFA last year, who made the team out of Alabama. It looks as though if he's able to stay healthy, he can make the 53 this year as well and be that developmental outside corner. Sidney Brown, the third-round pick out of Illinois at safety. He's been getting some first-team reps from time to time because Terrell Edmonds out at practice at moments this week. And then Dallas Goedert. No linebacker, no defensive back has been able to really stop him in one-on-ones or during team drills. He's never going to put up the numbers of a Travis Kelce because he's more of a blocker than Travis Kelce. But Dallas Goedert, don't get it twisted. He's one of the best all-around tight ends in the NFL. I think he's number 2 behind George Kittle, who last year wasn't all-pro, and Dallas Goedert has all-pro potential. I want to see the Eagles utilize him a little bit more in the red zone because last year their red zone offense, actually, if you looked at the numbers, we've breaking it down here on the show, did struggle a little bit. All right, so 5 stars in training camp for Philadelphia and a few honorable mentions. Who's your top breakout star? Anybody that I talked about? Somebody that I missed? That's why we have you to get into the comment section right now.